to a very special night indeed, and I hope you're having a lovely Christmas and a very peaceful holiday season. We're going to be back with a normal Late Late Show next Friday, January 5th, but tonight we're going back into the archives, 30 years in fact, to 1987, when the Late Late Show, hosted by the inimitable Gay Byrne, paid tribute to the original bearded hipsters that had become nothing less than cultural icons. The Dubliners celebrated 25 years in the music business with a Late Late special that remains one of the high points of this programme's history and that of the Dubliners. So with me tonight is the last Dubliner standing, Mr. John Sheehan. John, I hope you don't mind me saying that, the last Dubliner standing.
Well, I'm not quite standing, but still around.
But you're still here. Take us back a little bit to that big programme, that special, and the atmosphere in the studio that night.
Well, coming up to our 25 years, we recorded a new double album, and we had various guests on the album, like the Pogues and Christy Moore and Stockton Swing and so on. And, well, we reckon 25 years is a very special occasion, and we must celebrate it in whatever way we could. And little did we think that we'd be here for another 25 years after.
Yeah.
We were making jokes at the time, wondering if we'd see 30, 35 and so on, you know.
Yeah. But it was good vibes, and everyone was it's like a party by the looks of it.
It really, the whole programme turned out like a party, because some television programmes, you're a little bit apprehensive until things get warmed up, you know. But about 10 minutes into the show, we felt this is a doddle. We're just having a party, and Gay is the host, and all our friends around us, U2 and Stockton Swing, and the Furies, Christy Moore, Jim McCann.
Yeah.
Who else am I leaving out?
Because we're going to see them all in a minute. We're going to see the party, but what I wanted to ask you was, it's one thing having a party and a show like that, John, but I'm curious to know what happened after the show. Where did the crack end up? Like, did it keep going?
Oh, it did. I remember we went back to Bloom's Hotel where the Pogues were staying.
Right.
And actually, a very good friend of mine who was in the audience that night, she was a nun, Sister Eugene, a sister of Eugene McCabe, the writer. Right. But she was my daughter Siobhan's harp teacher. And she was a devil. She was on for the crack no matter what was going on. You know, I'd be playing at hospitals with her for charity events. And I'd be leaving her back into the convent maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. She'd be flying up the fire escape, sneaking in a window, you know. But she was in Bloom's with us till 4 o'clock in the morning with the Pogues and all the lads.
So the music continued, the messing continued.
The whole thing, just like an extension of the Late Late.
Right.
We couldn't. It was such a success and such a great feeling about it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't seem right to stop, you know.
And Sister Eugene stayed the pace, did she?
She did. Yeah. She was there till about 4 or 5 in the morning,
no bother to her.
having the crack with all the boys. Yeah, brilliant.
One thing we're going to see is, when we're watching the programme shortly, are all these faces, so many youthful faces.
Yes,
You haven't changed a day, thankfully.
Not too much. No, I've been lucky health-wise.
Yeah, I've been good to you. But I was looking at people like Bono and U2. I mean, that must have been one of the first times you'd have met the guys.
It was. I remember we were rehearsing. I used to call it the Dubliners' annual rehearsal, you know. But we had to do a little bit of rehearsing for this show. And the 4 boys from U2 came in across the studio. The first time I saw them, I'd heard of them, you know. And I was saying, what are these young fellas doing on our show, you know?
Yeah.
But when they came to their spot and they did Spring Hill, Nova Scotia, one of Luke's songs, they'd gone to the bother of learning it. And the thing I liked about it, they did it in their own inimitable style. They didn't try to imitate exactly what we'd done, you know.
But you probably saw something in them there that you thought,
Yeah, I thought to myself, these lads have a future now if they keep practicing, you know. I was making a joke afterwards, you did very well, lads, since we gave you that break on the Late Late Show, you know.
Did you work with them then after that?
We did. We did support for them in Páirc Uí Chaoimh in Cork, and then Croke Park here in Dublin. And,
so the association continued.
Became very good friends over the years. You know, we'd meet now and again and have a chat. And
you mentioned Luke Kelly there, and a lot of the faces that we're going to see in the programme sadly are no longer with us. You must watch it with a certain poignancy or wistfulness.
A certain amount of nostalgia. But not too much nostalgia, because I always balance that with the fact that we had such brilliant times together, you know. And I celebrate that rather than dwell too much on the negative side of things.
Because there's a lot to celebrate watching this programme.
Absolutely, yeah. Looking forward to seeing it again.
Did it have much of an impact, that show, on the Dublin, or the Late Late Show broadly, with Gay down through the years?
Huge. It had a huge impact. It was a real boost on the Dubliners' popularity again.
Good.
You know.
Good.
And people were talking about it for not just months afterward, but years afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, you'd meet people and say, "Oh, that was a great late." And they were saying this like 3 or 4 years after the event, you know.
Yeah, still talking about it 'cause it was great fun.
Yeah.
It must be funny looking back on the Dubliners special 30 years after the 25. You know, there's a lot of time is passing through.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it was a unique event in itself, but the fact that we're celebrating 30 years anniversary of a 25-year anniversary, that must be something special. And I think it was the first time that the Late Late dedicated the whole show to one group of people, you know.
Well deserved.
Yeah, it worked. A bit of a chance for RTE to take, but it worked pretty well.
Well, it was, I think I would imagine the Late Late Show's pleasure at the time. John, thanks for coming in to get the ball rolling on this programme tonight.
Looking forward to seeing it with
Likewise.
you now.
Glad and Happy New Year to you and your family.
Thanks,
right, John
Ryan.
Sheehan. That's John. Up to you now to grab yourself a pint of plain or a nice pot of tea, whatever it takes you, and sit back and watch the master, Mr. Gayburn, celebrate the Dubliners.